So sometimes when we're on Google, we see something extra special. It doesn't look like that usual search and result text. Sometimes you see a really big image, a video, a recipe, a job posting, or something interactive, something that expands. These are somewhat new to Google, and these are all called rich results. Rich results are derived from websites and are added with extra code that let you have these really cool, fancy markups on that Google result page. Today's video is going to be walking business owners through everything they need to know about rich results and, of course, how to get rich results working for you in less than 5 minutes. Alright, so you can't lie, rich results look really cool, and I know that as a searcher, when I'm on Google and I see those, I'm always more inclined to click something that looks a little bit more fancy. So a rich result is essentially something that comes from Google and an organization called Schema.org. So there is a definition and a standard of all of these different data things. There's a lot of different types of rich results. We'll go through them in a second, but job postings, videos, or recipes are some of the more common ones that people would see. So essentially what we are doing as business owners and website developers is looking to this definition, the schema.org structure for this data. Doing that through Google will tell us all of the different data points that we need to be adding. So let's say, for example, for a job posting, Google defines a set of required data points that they need to know about a job posting in order for them to potentially show that result on Google. So we as website owners are essentially looking to these standards and adding extra code into our website and into the things in our website that help organizations like Google understand more about our content. And in this case, when we add this extra special markup, we're giving Google everything that they need to know to potentially show us in an extra fancy way. Now, as you can see from this little scrolling image here, there are so many different awesome types of rich results that you could probably start getting used to and getting a sense of almost right away. They go into detail for a lot of standard types, and I think there's a lot of really common ones like articles and local businesses and organizations. And I know that before I discovered this, I was always curious how some companies got that extra cool result in Google that told them about their company. Well, now you know. So rich results are pretty fantastic for a couple obvious reasons. Number one, they increase your click-through rate, or your CTR. So essentially what a click-through rate is, how often when somebody sees your result will they physically click through it. Now, this is often a pretty low number, especially in the advertising world. You'll only get like a click-through rate of a couple percent really. But getting a rich result is an awesome way of improving that click-through rate. Simply because when a user sees that and it's enticing, engaging, and visual, of course, they're going to be more likely to click through. Next, you're just improving your search engine visibility, in general. When people see you on the first page of Google, that's awesome. But when they see you on the first page of Google with, awesome expandable FAQs, your videos are potentially featured, or, maybe they see your careers postings really easily, that is awesome. And I think people will give you maybe a little bit of extra credit for a business owner when they see awesome results coming from your website. And third, they just look awesome. Like, you can't help but think that when you see a result that they're just like really, really cool. I, for one, think that Google's going to be doing a lot more with this sort of stuff. So I think that, different kinds of results are something that we'll slowly just get more used to. Okay, friends, so rich results look really cool. There's no doubt about it, but they can be a little tricky to implement. So I'm going to quickly walk us through a couple, hopefully simple enough tools for you to use that help us put this type of stuff together. So as I mentioned before, we are adding a special kind of, standardized structured data to the objects and pages on our website so that we can get these special kind of renderings. So what we are essentially doing with some of these tools here is building or architecting that structured data with tools that help make sure that we don't mess up the process. For anybody that's ever been a developer before, you'll know that sometimes something as stupid as a space or a missing semicolon can break your whole application. So using tools like this is a great way to sort of walk you through step by step what you might want to do. So this first tool here, which is perhaps one of the more basic ones we have right here, is essentially hullanalysis.com JSON LD generator. And so this is the structure of data is called JSON, and this is going to be something that's just going to help us put this together here. So in this type of tool, I can see that I've got some different types of structures, the different types of schemas that we might be able to use. You would have seen these on Google's page there in one of those last videos, but for all intents and purposes, let's just keep it simple with organization. So for all of these inputs that now come below it, these are the different elements of data that we would need to provide to this in order to get that structured data. And I would really simply just want to walk through here step by step. So let's pretend this were token, for example, here. So we can go ahead and start filling out this corporation, token creative services. I mean, I won't take us through everything here, but you can sort of see that as I start to fill this out, that I'm getting something that renders on the right-hand side, and that is like the actual code of the website that we want to be able to copy in over there. So now let's say, for example, we just wanted to add some more URLs here, so we can say add a link, and let's just say that I was adding something to our Facebook page, and we can just add a couple links here. And we'll just pretend that this is like our LinkedIn URL or something. And awesome. So you can see those are starting to come in there as well. So now I would just continue to go through step by step. I would just say we are an impact agency. Again, I'm not going to go through all of this here together to bore you. Our address, 130 Highland Road East. And we are located in Kitchener. I'd fix that spelling, of course. And so it's nothing too crazy. You would use this as a very simple walkthrough to add all those different points that you need. And now let's say when I was done with all of that and I was ready to get that result, I'd go ahead and click copy to clipboard, got this stuff copied, and now, and depending on how your website is set up, you would want to add this code to your website. And so hopefully when that page that this code is added to starts to rank, you'll start to get that extra special looking result. Okay, so we got another tool here, honestly very simple to the last one here. technicalseo.com/tools/schema markup generator. This one looks a little bit nicer, but you can see that the idea is essentially the same. These two different tools, because they were likely built at different times, appear to support different schema.org structures. So I suppose you might want to find one that supports as many as you can. I really like to use something like an FAQ page. I think the breadcrumbs are really important here. But you can see that you can have almost anything that you wanted to do. We'll keep it simple, and let's just say that we were doing like a breadcrumb structure here. So you can see here that the structure is laid out for me such that when I select breadcrumb, I'm being asked to enter only the specific pages that I actually want to do. So let's say that people were going through a breadcrumb structure and people were going through, let's say they started on our Kitchener area here. We'll just do tokencs.ca/Kitchener. And then page 2 name, let's say they went to that URL for SEO. Oops, let me just fix this. And then let's say we came here and then we did SEO-services. And so now when I want to add this breadcrumb to my website, I've got everything that I need to go just in the bottom corner right here. So if I were just to copy this code and add it to my website, I would see that rich result in the form of a breadcrumb given these inputs that I've given this tool here. And I would definitely recommend to try to find as many opportunities for rich results as you possibly can. There are so many good ones, and while granted you might not have job postings on your website, and you might not really care so much about featuring a specific person, it's never a bad idea to try to rank using these awesome rich results, because you might only be giving yourself a little bit of extra juice as a result. Okay, and now our final tool for our demo here today is going to be one, this time by Google actually. So this tool is a little bit different because it's a tiny bit more interactive in that this will actually launch to a web page and allow you to navigate and select the different types of things that you're trying to mark up on your page exactly. So today, for this example, what we're going to be doing is putting together some structured data for a job posting. Now, our website here on our careers page has job postings, albeit we only have one opening right now for your dream job. So what I want to do is just quickly go to this page, and I am going to go ahead and copy this URL. Now I'll go back to my structured data tool, type this as a URL, and go ahead and click Start Tagging. So we're going to give this a second to load, and what this is going to do is actually load me and render onto the page that I just put in. So I'm offered a couple different things on my screen here. So first and foremost, I am at a stage where I've entered onto the page and now I want to tag my data. And so what I am trying to do now is essentially, given a definition of data, highlight and select elements of my page that will give Google those different data points that it needs. So I can see, generally speaking, what a job posting is supposed to have right on this right-hand side here. Some of these elements actually aren't even immediately clear to me what they should be, such as hiring. Like, I don't know, maybe hiring means full-time, maybe it means part-time. It's hard to say for sure. So I would refer back to Google's documentation just to make sure that I knew what I was doing. But let's just do a couple of the obvious ones here. So your dream job in this case is meant to represent the name of the job. So what I'm actually going to do is highlight this text and say that this is actually the title. Awesome. So now that that's been identified as the title for the job posting, and I can see that Google has more or less anchored on that selection. Now we're just going to keep going down. I can see that it wants a job description as well. So thankfully ours is pretty easy to hire here. I'll go ahead and I'll put description. Now it's got some questions about the salary, and because this isn't a real job posting, this is just kind of something to get people excited. I don't have that level of salary data added on here, but you could see that if I highlighted like Canadian, that there would be elements of the base salary there. So I could just say that this was a currency value. And this immediately also helps me validate to make sure that I have enough information on my page so that I can rank for a rich result. So in this exact example, this is actually a poorly formed job posting in the sense of a rich result, because you can see here that I don't actually have all of these different data points that Google is expecting me to have. According to the right-hand side, I don't have enough about the job's location. I don't have a date for the job posting, and I think that those are, certainly easy to fix. While I go through this, it's helpful to see that and to try to understand what I might be missing. And this is pretty much it. You can continually add through, you can add your missing tags, or I could type in through this text, but at the end of this journey, I'm given, again, a piece of code, some HTML that I will add to my page that essentially and hopefully will get me a special result for job postings. Okay friends, so far I've shown you how to put together some of the code potentially for some of those awesome rich results, and while there's certainly no guarantee that you will get a rich result to appear on Google, Google does a really good job of at least helping you test and validate those rich results that we're putting together. So on our screen here is going to be the rich result test tool. So first and foremost, just make sure that you've got a Google Search Console account with one of your Google accounts. And of course that you've got your website crawled by Google. So if you are just building a website for the first time, or if you have like literally just implemented rich result, chances are this won't work for you right away. Things in the SEO world are a little bit retroactive while Google needs to crawl and of course see that content. So you have one of two options here. I can either ask this tool to crawl a specific URL on my website and see what code is in there, or given the code from some of those last tools that we have just gone through, I could actually just validate the code that I've got from them. So I'm going to keep this easy. I know that we have got some stuff on our homepage, so let's just say I want to see how my rich results would do for the tokencs.ca homepage. So we've got to let this run for about 30 seconds or so, but at the end of this, what Google is actually doing is crawling my HTML and trying to tell me, hey, are you likely to rank? Are things working well? Is there maybe an error in the code that I've done? So first and foremost, it tells me that this homepage and our website generally is eligible for rich results. Awesome. That's really, really good news. It's potential that if you've been blacklisted, blocklisted, or just Google sees something as ineligible for your website, something it doesn't trust, your page just might not be eligible. And so now I'm going to see results for every single different type of result that I've got. Now we use some pretty awesome tools in our WordPress platform, so I've actually got a couple different items, rich results, just on the homepage alone. So first and foremost, we have breadcrumbs on all of our websites. So anywhere where you can find tokencs.ca, depending on where you're at, you're going to see the breadcrumb. Now it's saying unnamed breadcrumb because in this case, I'm simply on the home page, so I actually don't have a crumb of anywhere that I've been. I'm at the top level. A little further down here are some of the more helpful rich results that I would say. So we've got a local business, which essentially makes sure that, no matter what, if you find Token Creative Services, you are going to see our business listing, like our what looks like a Google My Business listing, right on that homepage along with our result. And similarly, so we've got searches all across our website. So if somebody does intend to search for something, I can actually render a search box right on Google, so people could search tokencs.ca for really cool business resources or some of those one-pagers that we often release without having actually to go directly into my website. I think that's pretty awesome. And of course, we've got our logo. We might represent ourselves as an organization, so we just want to make sure that at any point in time, people know what they're looking at when they come to our website. And that's pretty much it. So when you are implementing rich results, you've got to validate that the code that you've created is still accurate, because of course, year over year, Google and Schema.org are potentially adding or adjusting those rich result requirements. Or you might simply just have them ready and you just want to see if they're working or live. So this is a great tool to help you both validate your implementation and validate the code that you've put together for everything. All right, my friends, so I think that is about everything that I have to share with you about rich results. Hope you've learned something here. Rich results are really effective and really cool. So if you want to add a little pizzazz or a little wow to your search results, nobody should be looking past rich results, especially even some of the awesome, simple ones like an organization or local business. My name is Jordan Snyder. Thanks for watching Token Creative Services SEO 101 video. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.